India, and it's AI-driven software, which means that when you're opening businesses at different platforms, in hotels, in restaurants, standalone, bakery shops, and so on and so forth. Not the time of Dilip Bharti opened the restaurant in London. He was the first Michelin star chef. I happened to eat his food in London. Time has changed. You will land up with Dynamite. And Dynamite is one tool which will actually tell you how do you optimize your profitability. So technology is changing so fast paced in times to come that you will land up into a different level when you actually do it. It's no more ordering process is manual, it's automated completely. Our softwares can tell you that are you ordering less, under or over, right? Depending on the menu for the day, the season happening, whether it's autumn or spring or occupancy levels in the hotel. So everything in the food industry nowadays is so severely automated, you really can't do much. In our hotels, if you're opening a restaurant, say a Greek restaurant, for example, like we have a Sanina, you'll have 50 pages of SOP for it. Means that how you're going to receive, how you're going to cut, how you're going to produce, and how you're going to sell, and what which are you using into the public. So it attracts, because at the end of the day, in India, Atithi Devo Bhava is still valid. We sell food with human element to the Indian plateau, irrespective of people coming in within India or from out of India. So that amalgamation of the softwares and the technology and Atithi Devo Bhava, I think that's what the Indian scenario is all about.
So ensure to learn, understand the technology very well. This was fantastically give a lot of how we imagine to do this
but it will also teach you when you go into the industry to understand how do we survive, how do we make money in the world where every single window is competing with you. So that's how the world is changing right now. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really meaningful. But again, the question still remains, to some extent unanswered. That is it necessary for a food? So this question comes to you now. You have been living into a food world, for the last 35, 40 years. You have created businesses along the line. So do you think, that the food and entrepreneur, are there something, which has been seen success? Yes, we have seen success. We have seen some, fantastic restaurants being run by some of the good chefs, and they have actually.
I'm not only a chef, but an entrepreneur also. I run restaurants also. So I have a dual experience. But I truly feel that any business you do, a very important role. One is the finance, you are a master in that. And second is handling people appropriately. These two things play a very important role being an entrepreneur. Now, if I look back, there are chefs who have been very, very successful in business. Some have failed in a span of 6 months, 1 year. It was very tempting to see that a cutlet which costs you nothing, you are making money out of it. So this temptation which comes, they don't understand how much risk is involved in a business. There are many chefs, I don't want to name them, there are quite a few of them. They open business, they come back to their job because they couldn't handle it, because I think it's the mindset, because being a chef or being a leader, being a manager, we get used to that comfort zone of, yes sir, morning sir, thank you sir. Whereas business, on the other hand, involves multitasking. In the sense that, of course you need to have a knowledge, but I personally feel that to run a business, you have to have that managerial skills. It's very, very important. Knowledge, of course, there are successful entrepreneurs in the country who have probably financial background, they are CAs or they are doctors, but they have managed. But on the other hand, there are chefs having so much of knowledge. They say, if you want to open a nursing home, you have to be a doctor. I personally feel to run a nursing home, you don't need to be a doctor. You need to be a good leader. You need to be, that entrepreneurial, that mindset you need to have. Referring back to as far as knowledge is concerned, it certainly pays. If I look at doctor running a nursing home versus chef running a nursing home, two things are different. But likewise, food business, I have been running restaurants for the last many years, where it took me a lot of time to get into the mindset that look, business is a risk. It's not. But if you have aptitude of doing business, sky is the limit. In today's world, where so many restaurants are popping up in each and every city today, stand-alone restaurants is a challenge for hotels. Many a time I've asked in the media, since so many restaurants across the road in front of your hotel, that's where your, innovation skill comes, your creative skills come, your thought process comes. Because today, business is not, it's social media, digitalization, technology play a big role today. There was an era when
Such a wonderful experience and thought. But I think the point which again boils down to is, हम अच्छे technician तो बन जाते हैं. Something which is very, I would not say easy, so I think, to become a good technician, you still have to work, you have to understand the nuances of your trade, you have to keep on going and practicing again in and out, you have to be consistent in your approach, then possibly, we will reach to some stage of technician. But I think the challenge is, that how can technician become a technocrat? So like what we said, businesses are different. So thank you so much for taking care of finances makes different, but I think every part of a business makes it different. I may have a good finance, but maybe management is bad, we will keep losing our people. Right? So finance will hold people for a while, by giving them a salary or beyond what they could command, but then you will not be able to get the kind of productivity and proficiency which you will need. So again, HR is important, people management is important, marketing, like what you said very well. Nobody's going to look into leaflets anymore. I don't think even the newspapers are getting published anymore. Talking about the leaflets, So again, what is the technology that, we need to make sure that, we are relevant in today's time. I have developed a fantastic food, item. How do I sell? How do I bring customers to it? So I think every business, needs important aspect. That is what the beauty about a hotel management course is. And this is what the education does. So hospitality and hotel management, if I would say, despite being a multi-qualified, this is a qualification which have always interested me. Why? Because in this you get the technique, you get the skill, which is very important. To anywhere you need to succeed in life, you need the skill. So even the finance, we will have a degree, but we may not have a skill. Even we are a marketeer, or we have a good degree, but we may not have a good skill. So I think that skill need to be honed, need to upskill, re-coming back, and that is something which is very important. Now, to be a successful businessman, or to think like an entrepreneur, you need that leadership. If you would have heard of him, the leadership is something which you need to go through. Leadership is not only about, just commanding the people. Leadership is all about being compassionate, being empathetic, to understand what your people need. Machines are easy to work, right? But people are the most toughest task. But if you give them a way, if you give them a direction, and if you make them understand that how they are relevant for their own cause, for their own purpose, I think the team works. And this is the reason, why multiple businesses succeed. The businesses succeeds on the strength of their operational capabilities, they succeed on the capabilities of finances, they succeed on the capability of that leadership. And this is what hospitality does. So hospitality, when it teaches you about the, the foundation and the advance of the industry, it also teaches you the management. It tells you what the finances, they may not make you a financial professional, for which obviously you can hire people for CA, but they will make you understand how to read that financial booklet. They will tell you how to get to your RMC, how to calculate that menu price, how to sell that product, how to beat that competition, how to analyze what products are being sold, what is that market demand. I think this is where the learning will come into play. You know, what is marketing? How do I make my restaurant the best place? How do I make sure that my customer who gets into my restaurant, gets the best service? So I think those are the nuances of trade which one needs to learn, and this is where the management comes into play. And hotel management does the same thing. For the first year, 2 years, they will teach you the best techniques, and in third year, when the management comes, he's relevant for HR, relevant for finance, he's relevant for everything which that business needs. So that is what the kind of a program and the approach will help you to reach where the businesses can take you. Thank you so much again, sir, for such a wonderful thoughts of yours on the businesses. Hemant sir, you have been a dean, you have been playing a multiple roles, from one place to the other. You have trained so many of them in the industry. I'm sure many of them have themselves become the leaders, and the successful entrepreneur. Now, what kind of a trend, I'm sure now you are no more into an active role, but still you are supporting many of them through your consulting. But then, what kind of an emerging trends are we seeing in certain food businesses? We have seen, a lot of, tikki walas, becoming, or some vada walas becoming big. We have seen so many chains, which has developed. So, what kind of an emerging trend are we seeing in the food businesses, sir? If you could just throw some light on that.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this gathering and this event. And I think last 3 days I have witnessed the best of young minds, and they are all confident with the food. So that's very important. I remember when I started my college in Mumbai Catering College, that time we were really afraid to stand in front of gas and start cooking something and then showing it to somebody. But the kind of confidence you have got, kind of team management, kind of adapting to the situation, adapting to the place, I think that will go a long way, I'm sure. Now, as sir has also said before, that when you are talking about the food, not only the cooking of food, preparation of food, but all the things which are connected with the food. I will tell you one small incident. When I was doing my first posting, I was posted to Calcutta from Delhi. So I thought I will learn Rasgulla from one of the housewives there, from the landlady where I was staying. So I asked her, Babiji, I wanted to learn the Rasgulla. So whenever you make Rasgullas, please, I would be interested. So she said, no, we don't make Rasgullas at home. We have got Kesi Das. Or we have got, there are many shops there, so we buy it from there. So already the food, whatever branches of food, or you can say the businesses connected with the food are already there. Like canning of the what you call sweet dishes, canning of rasgullas is there for famous many years. Then masalas, the spice mixtures. See, it is said that each and every family has got its own spice mixtures. But how the MDH came there in the picture? So MDH masalas, I think it established maybe 100 years ago. So they are all connected with the food industry only. So businesses, when a chef is there, he is a person who knows how to prepare the food. But at the same time, he is also aware, or should be aware, about the ingredients, about the sourcing, about how the food reaches to the next person, how it is packed, how it is properly made with all the food safety norms. So all those things are there. And while learning your cooking as a trade, you should also learn that. Now you can say there are many new businesses or new openings or new trends are there, niche businesses, and lot of them are connected with nutrition. Now I remember when I joined my college in Mumbai first, the name of the institute was, still is I think, Hotel Management, Catering Technology, Institute of Hotel Management, Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition. Now, applied nutrition means how the nutrition is applied while you are making the food and when you are giving it to your customer. After a few years, maybe the nutrition, what I feel, of course, that maybe people might have different opinions, but I feel the nutrition took a back seat little bit. People were more, chefs were more interested and more, maybe they became more experts on food presentation, taste, texture, of course. All is required, definitely. What you are actually giving, what kind of food you are taking so much time to prepare the food. So is it giving the required nutrition to the person? And later on, now of course you can see the group of people who are coming up with the food and nutrition. So they are the chefs who are not working in hotels and restaurants, but they have got their own setup. They have got teams who go to homes, they connect with the people, they train them, they give them demonstrations, they show them how the ingredients are to be stored. Sometimes some of them are actually having a full list of ingredients. They can take it away, who are making the special desserts, specialty desserts, and they are supplying it to the homes. Then there are personal catering for 10 people, 15 people. Of course, outdoor catering is there in the hotel industry for many years. But now this is specially for one event where they make the menus, they consult the menus with you for the menus, and they come to you. They, as per your personal requirement, they do it everything, and quietly they go. Of course, they charge a good amount of money. So, of course, he said that very important is finance. So, you should also see that whatever efforts you are putting in the future. And I think for you, I remember during COVID, one of our students only is having hotels, I think in Indore. I think many chains also started after that. So that venue. And he will charge for that, of course, because they would have come and they would have eaten from the buffet or anything. So he used to send them the complete pack, properly packed food to this house. And now still he is giving. Even not actually not able to attend the marriage wedding, but then the host would like to send the delicacies from the wedding to their place. And he is still continuing along with his regular banquet business. So there are many avenues where you can come up. Taking classes, cooking classes, of course YouTube now, YouTube is full of that, of course. You can start your YouTube channels, you can take the classes, you can actually take one of the specialized thing and show it to the people. You can give the, of course institutions are also there, come up where you can actually mold the students along with the skill, because now skill is very important, skill, knowledge. If you have these two things and with the right attitude, anybody can be very successful in business, I think. So there are a lot of other things where others will also, experts will tell. So all the best from my side. You know what, sky is the limit as far as businesses are concerned, entrepreneurship is concerned. Of course, hotels, restaurants are going to stay there. They will definitely be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think the point is very clear. If you have an idea, that idea can generate yourself, that idea can become a business in itself. That idea can grow up, but to bring that idea to a life, you also need to have the understanding. So get that understanding, the information is around you, the information is in the form of books, in the form of your teachers, your mentors, you have so much of digital information available, but then to bring that information and process will always help you once you have that basic understanding that how that idea can be innovative into a successful business. So thank you so much for enlightening us on this, sir. So Anand, this is for you. I think you have been given a bigger chance now. We have always been talking about skill and entrepreneur, but I think somewhere, especially in a country like India where we have such a diverse culture, leaps and bounds. We have seen people, from a different thoughts, different things. So how? And this is a very innovative thing, and I really like that. I would like, if you could just throw some light that how between skill and culture has come into play. And how the government now is thinking about culture. We all in the management have always, known this fact that, the strategy can be eaten, the culture can eat strategy for breakfast, So now with that culture thing, how do you think that you bring that culture? We do it in our way, we do like life skills, we do like communication. But I think the culture is also equally important. The culture teaches you that how you can utilize your skill and entrepreneurial ability into a meaningful role. So I'm sure you have been given a mandate to work something on this. So why don't you just throw some light and give us some guidance as to how this whole culture thing can also help to make them a more successful entrepreneur?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Manish Khanna. I think you have created a wonderful platform for these young future entrepreneurs and future culinary experts. So when we talk about the entrepreneurship, I think my couple of fellow colleagues talked about the creativity, mindset, your inquisitiveness, your positivity. I think you all have to combine. Before I come to my questions, so you have to have that mindset of entrepreneurship. Like Mr. Manish has said, that what kind of environment government is creating for you all. Government has number of initiatives, especially in the food sector. You would be surprised to know that government is encouraging youth to get into the entrepreneurship. They have number of skill centers in the country. I think currently we have about 26 skill centers spread all over the country. Where this is especially I am talking about hospitality, tourism and culture. So those skill centers are doing hand-holding people like you. If you have some knowledge, then also good. Even if you don't have a knowledge, they provide you the basic fundamentals of required knowledge. But you need to have that idea. You need to inculcate that idea. You need to have that inquisitiveness in you, so that you can explore those ideas and get into those skill centers. They will really help you to become a good entrepreneur. But when you think to become an entrepreneur, you need to have that creativity in you. You need to be that initiative taking capabilities in you. You have to be positive and create a good team for whatever business you are doing. As you are aware that we have a lot of opportunities in the food business. Even a small business, even a small initiative can create a great platform for you. I can give you a few examples. You know Zomato, how Zomato has started. Now they have become very big. Just go through and read their history. There is a person called Anubhav Dubey. He just started a tea business. Now he is working in about 100 countries, having more than 1,000 crore rupees of turnover. And he is just about 25, 26 year old. And he does not have any kind of a food business background. So that platform you can create for yourself, but you need to have that niche in yourself, and you have to be very well aware about the technology, digital literacy. You need to have that acumen of having the data, so that you can take a call and you can get into a food business. And in our country, the food business is increasing at the rate of 12%, and has a global scope. So it is a great opportunity to all of you. But you need to have that mindset. I think the UEI has created a wonderful platform for you, service to the society, but make sure that whatever business you do, make sure it is sustainable. But you should be having that risk-bearing capabilities. And you have a long opportunities for yourself.
A round of applause for Anand, please. I think Anand raised a very valid point. The idea, the sustainability, that all is very good. But especially when it comes to our trade, especially like a food industry, or we talk about the hotelier, I think creativity is the key. Right? And who better than Devras could tell us, who holds the Guinness World Book of Record, that how the creativity has played an important role. You have worked in the various industries, you created that Guinness World of Record. I think, the students would love to hear that also. And maybe if you could just throw some light, especially as a food artist now and as a consultant, how that creativity, need to be the part of any business or any entrepreneur or any successful even career, whether we even do it to an industry or even as an entrepreneur. We need some light on that table.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here. And it is really amazing to see
such a creativity at this young age. At the first year, I came to know that the students were from first year, and I was really surprised because this kind of opportunity we never got in our initial days. So I appreciate management also. It's wonderful efforts. Uh, I want to share a few things, to start with, regarding this entrepreneurship. I think this discussion is very important at this, the starting point of the career of yours. Um, I'll give my example. I worked in initially 5 years. I was with Siddharthi Goa. As a chef. We were in a training and all that. After 5 years, I thought I learned everything. You know that, and I started my own restaurant at that time. And I failed at that time. After 2 years, I had to close down that restaurant because so many things. With that age, we feel that हमको सब कुछ आता है अभी, and we know everything. But that was not the point. A lot of things were, I had to learn. So I closed down, went on ship. But I never gave up the idea of entrepreneurship. That is the thing. You have to be consistent. Whatever the failures, whatever you have gone through, it's important that you consider it as a stepping stone. That is very important, I feel. Because it's not a failure, it's a stepping stone for you. So this mindset is important. And I think for entrepreneurship, this is some positive mindset is very important. And I also learned that, empathy is also very important. When you start your own business, you should be empathetic to, some situations of your staff and things like that. So those things are very important. Regarding creativity, one thing was there, carving and food sculpting was my passion. And once you go to the hotels, I worked in cruise liners, there was no direct, involvement of that. I mean, there is a part of, carvings, you can say that, in presentation and all that. But whatever idea you are having in your mind, I think it's your idea. So nobody can give importance to that idea more than you. So never forget that. Whatever you are, is good at, I think you should keep on mind what you can give best, what can do best out of it. So martial sculpture is something which was I used to do from my training days as well. So there were a lot of challenges. There was no category as such for martial sculpture in Guinness Book of World Record, but I wanted to do that. In between, I told my father also that I want to do something with that, and in between my father passed away. But I wanted to fulfill that promise that I will do something about that. I will not give up. So for 4 years I was working on that concept. There are a lot of challenges when you work on margarine. You know that, right? It's a butter substitute. Margarine is something in bakery we use all the time. So it is very soft in nature. It has to be controlled. The temperature has to be controlled. So all those difficulties were there. So, the special category was created for this attempt, which was done in 2017. I did it for 10 days actually. Not only me, my team was also there. They were part of it. A special room was created, air-conditioned room was created, and 10 days it took for us. In between 3 times, I made a Trimurti, by the way. Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. And I wanted to do something which will resonate with our culture, Indian culture. It was not our only record. I think our culture should be, we should promote that culture. So I wanted to promote that culture through the sculpture. So 3 times during the making of the sculpture, it collapsed in between, because the rules and regulations were very strict. You cannot use any middle support to create that sculpture. So eventually, I formed the margarine into the bricks, and the structure was created, and eventually after 10 days, it was successful. So my point is, whatever creativity you are having, any idea it can be, not
I'm just giving an idea. I'm just giving an example of sculpture. So you might have some other idea also in your mind. So don't give up on that idea. Even if somebody says, "अरे इसका क्या मतलब इसमें क्या मिलने वाला है?" कुछ it will not be beneficial or whatever. You have to give importance to your idea and keep on doing it till it is successful. So, failure is not the option. You just consider it as a stepping stone. And I'm sure I've seen today fantastic efforts by all of you. And I really, it's a hats off to you all. You're doing fantastic job. Just keep a faith in yourself, whatever you're doing. That's what I'll say. Thank you so much.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think today the kind of an innovation and creativity we have seen, I'm sure, all those 150 participants, the way they have presented their food, whether it was your global biryani challenge, whether it was your millet, whether it was dress up your cake, and even especially those 20 panelists, the fusion was amazing, guys. When people doesn't know that I'm not a chef, most of them, but still they keep asking me, the kind of an observation I was doing on their food was amazing, guys. And then my observation was literally meant for you actually. The way your food hold me, the way your presentation hold me, I think this is what is required. You need to stop that person to you. You need to put their eyeballs onto you. They need to get and dwell into that food which you have created. And that's the point where they keep coming back to you. Thank you so much, guys. You did a fantastic thing, and this is what the innovation is. This is what the creativity is. This is what David has done. Hold the record in the Guinness Book World Record, Guinness World Record, and then possibly someone of you would be doing the same thing in the years to come. Thank you so much. Thanks, Shrikant. Something, we need to come back to the topic also, So, we started with something like, reimagining the food. So what do you mean by reimagining? Are we trying to disturb the current food system? Or are we are trying to augment the system? So technology, we are thinking, will it disrupt the system? Will the technology reimagine the food? Or what is food reimagining actually? What does food reimagining means to you, especially when you are running such a huge setup of hotel, like a Ritz Carlton in this city? How does it make a difference?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, a big thank you to the Uei Global team for inviting me on this such a great stage. First of all, let me tell you, food is not a basic need as of now. Food is evolved much more than what we think of when it comes to hotel and this industry. When we say this, food is actually a catalyst between innovation, between entrepreneur, between empowerment and sustainability. So when we say food, it doesn't stop themselves to a specific restaurant or hotel. Food is gone way above what we think of when it comes to specialty restaurants or fine dining restaurants. I have to say one thing, initially when the hotels were opened, they were, the owners used to invest a lot in rooms and restaurants where hardly one or two restaurants in the hotel. Now when you go up in the market, you see 4 to 5 restaurants in the hotel, and the inventory is much lower than what we used to see beforehand. That's just because of the demand which has come up in the market, where people are desperately to see what's happening new across the new outlets, across the new restaurants, across the new chef who's coming up to a new hotel or a new restaurant. What is that is bringing on the plate is what people are looking at when they come to a new restaurant or a hotel. Like we said, Chef DK was telling about how hotels and restaurants people stand on as superseded hotels basically. But let me tell you, the way hotels have started generating revenue when it comes to restaurant per se, almost we see a 50 to 52% of revenue specifically from restaurants. That gives the young chefs right across on the opposite of the stage how important the food, and you as the future leaders of this industry, how important you will make this across the world. Now when we say technology, Technology has overtaken the industry, yes, but not to a large extent, smaller extent, for sure. We need to use technology in such a way that we use the data analytics which comes out from the system. We need to take the data where we can control wastages, where we can control carbon footprint, where we can do a lot on sustainability point of view. You know, at large point of instance, every single restaurants and hotels are majorly focused on sustainability, how they give back to the community. That has become the strongest point when we say sustainability point of view. When we say technology has come across in the system, but our craftsmanship can now never go down. It's always the chefs who are right there across the kitchen who creates the great food, and it's the servers who are right there on the table to articulate the same food and serve it across. So technology can only give you numbers and can only say how to do it, but we are the persons, we are the craftsmen who can actually sell out the dish, actually make out the dish and get it on the table. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kiran. Thank you so much. That was quite valuable actually, I'm sure, we have learned that, that how the food will be imagined in the time to come and how the technology will make a role to it. So ultimately, like what he said, the food is no more a necessity, the food is beyond that necessity. So I'm sure, while we are looking for necessity, and the necessity can also tell us that how we need to eat, how nutritious the food has to be, how valuable that food in the chain could be, The same food, could be sold, can be sold on the street for, so 100 bucks, and the same thing, when it reaches to a right place and a right environment and a right ambience, could even fetch you 1,000 bucks for the same dog, for the same purpose. So I'm sure, there is a lot many things which the technology will teach us. And Siddharth, if I would come to you as a last question before we open the house, food reimagine kar diya for one reason, so whether it is in the process form, whether it is into the, live form, you have been into a lot of consulting and poultry and everything, fish, you have been into a lot of exports, with fusion. So what do you think we need, especially for these young entrepreneurs, if I would say, if they need to come into the business of food, what exactly do they need to do? And how do they beat up with the technology? We have big houses, who have been running on technology. Does it really mean that empowering these entrepreneurs or, inculcating that leadership into the age of technology really has challenge? And if these are the challenges, especially with your kind of experience where you have seen, the way the food has been imagined, whether from those pizzas to the processed food to the current whatever you are doing, why don't you just shed some light, and tell our audience, so that how this can also help them, or at least, what they need to do, or what kind of a tool they should have so that they could use technology for their own best while they are emerging as entrepreneurs.
Jai Shri Ganesh, Jai Ma Annapurne, Vande Mataram. First of all, thank you very much for, I'm sitting on the stage with a lot of people who were in uniform even before I was born. Even though I have a 27 years of experience, you can imagine what is the shared experience here. There are people here on the stage who have taught me when I was doing my hotel management. So, life has been a great journey. Coming back to Mr. Khanna's question regarding technology, you all made cakes yesterday? I can't hear you. Yes, you all made cakes. And imagine if we had to make cake in 45 minutes. When I did my hotel management from 1995 to 1998, we would have never been able to do that in 45 minutes. We would have taken 2 hours. There is sponge cake available, there is whipped topping cream which is available, there is colors which are available, there is marzipan which is available. And where do you think all this has come from? This is all thanks to food technology. So then, I'm sure a couple of you and many of us will put on this question, and you have a lot of these reels on Insta and LinkedIn saying about processed foods and ultra processed foods and ultra processed foods and all that. How many of you have a cow or buffalo at home? None. No one. And where do you think all this doodh ganga jo beh rahi hai, where do you think all this milk is coming from? Okay, so this is thanks to technology. Milk today is available in Tetra Pak. Milk is heated to 121 degrees Celsius. It's packed in Tetra Pak, it gives you 1 year of shelf life. I want to put these questions across to you actually. Which is better? You know, the green peas which are available in the market in winter, they are much better, or the frozen green peas which you get in the market in packets, those are better. Which is better? What about any of you here? Fresh. Many of us will say fresh is absolutely better, but whenever that fresh comes to us, it comes to us after a gap of 4 to 5 days. It comes sprayed with a lot of pesticide. So there are companies which are dedicated across India who pick the green peas on day one, process it, and then freeze it like they were absolutely out of the farm on day one, and then they freeze it for 1.5 years. And we have all the hara-bhara kebabs, flowing out of our kitchens with those kind of vegetables. So when Mr. Khanna is asking me about technology, let me, give you a mix and match of what is really happening. My career has been through hotels and restaurants till about 2015. And from 2015, I moved to food manufacturing, food tech and food processing industry. So I associated, I was very fortunate to be in the spice and seasoning industry. There was a time when a lot of these chains, US chains which came to India used to import the spices and seasonings. And the question was why? Because India being the largest producer of spice, why is it that they need to import these seasonings? Because we never have this processing and tech with us. So then blending started. Now the thing is that there is no import, there is maximum export of blended spices and seasonings. Every day when you put on a TV channel, you put on a news channel, I think more than the news channel, you have advertisements of masala companies on that. Every day there is somebody or the other. So where is this technology coming from? You've all heard of ISRO, ISRO? Indian Space Research Organization. Yes, and you've heard of cryogenic technology? Cryogenic technology, right? So it goes to sub-zero, minus temperatures, the engine and all that. This same cryogenic technology is today used in spices and seasonings. The spices are frozen to minus 40 and then they are ground into powder. Why? Just to preserve that beauty of that, that flavor of the spice. So this is what food technology is coming into. You are all students of culinary. There are so many avenues available. There is hotels, there is restaurant, but like Mr. Patra spoke about, in terms of what really happened in hotels, people move out and people want to venture to restaurants.